Good morning, students. I hope you understood the previous lecture. Before moving on to the next topic, let's quickly revise some important terms. In the last lecture, we discussed what is a database. A database is an organized collection of related data. A dictionary is an example of a database as it contains a collection of words. A dictionary is organized or systematic as the words are arranged in alphabetical order. I hope you now understand why do we say a database is an organized collection of related data. Let's now revise what is a relational database management system, in short RDBMS. It's a software that is used to create relational databases. What is a relational database? A relational database stores data in the form of tables. Today we are going to discuss what are tables. A table contains data that is stored in rows and columns. Let's understand with the help of an example. Suppose we want to store data of students as shown below. For a particular student, the data can be organized under various headings such as roll number, registration number, name, class, section, address, city, mobile number, email ID, etc. Our requirement is to store the data of students under three headings: roll number, name, and percentage. These headings are called columns. So this table contains three columns: roll number, name, and percentage. Each row represents collection of data about a particular student. So this table contains 4 rows of data for 4 students. A column represents a vertical subset of the table, whereas a row represents a horizontal subset of the table. The columns are also known as fields or attributes. The rows are also known as records or tuples. The first column, roll number, stores numeric values. These values are integers. Integers are numbers which do not have a fractional part, like 1, 2, 3, -18, -27, and so on. The percentage column stores numeric values. These values are known as real numbers. Real numbers are the numbers which have a fractional part, like 45.17, 96.64, -21.83, and so on. The column name contains text values. Text values can contain any sequence of characters. These characters can include letters from A to Z, digits from 0 to 9, spaces, and special symbols like comma, colon, dollar, etc. Let's now see how to start MySQL. Click the Start button on the taskbar and select the group MySQL. From this group, select the option MySQL Command Line Client. Alternatively, go to the search box on the taskbar and type MySQL. You will see the related options and click the option MySQL Command Line Client. MySQL opens and this is the initial window of MySQL. Here it is waiting for you to type the password. This password is specified at the time of installing MySQL and the password is 1234 that we have given. Type the password and press the Enter key. You can see the cursor here and this is known as the MySQL prompt. MySQL interacts with the help of commands. So at the MySQL prompt here, we type commands to perform various tasks. As you all know, MySQL is a relational database management system that allows you to create and maintain databases. So the first step is to create a database. A database is an organized collection of related data. This entire collection of data will be referred to by a name. So we'll be giving the name of the database as school. The command to create a database is the create database command. At the prompt, we write create database school. The command ends with a semicolon. Press the enter key to execute the command. So, a database with the name school has been created. I would like to tell you one more thing. MySQL is case insensitive. That means there is no difference between uppercase and lowercase letters. So, whether you type the commands in uppercase or lowercase, there will be no difference. After creating the database, we have to first open the database. The command to open a database is the use command. So we write use and the database name. The name that we gave was school, semicolon, and press the enter key. So the use command opens the database and this database now becomes the active database. Subsequently, all the commands that we type will be applied on the school database because it is the active database right now. The next step is to create a table so that we can store data inside the table. The command to create a table is the create table command. So we will create the table student with 3 columns: roll number, name, and percentage. Let's now create the table. So we write create table and the name of the table here. The name of the table that we're going to create is student. So we write here student followed by simple brackets. Inside brackets we write the name of the first field or column in the table. The name of the first field is roll number. We keep it short by writing RNO. Remember, the name of the field cannot contain spaces. We will discuss the naming rules later. The name of the field is followed by the type of value that you will be storing in this field, roll number. As I discussed earlier, roll number field values are integers. So to represent integers, we write int. Int is short for integer and it represents the type of value that we will be storing in the roll number field. So int is known as a data type. Data type means the type of value that will be stored in a particular field. That's all about the first field of the table. Now we put a comma and start with the second field in the table. The second field was the name field that will be storing the name of the student. So we write name and the name field stores text values. In order to represent text values, the data type available is varchar. I repeat, data type is the type of value that you want to store in a particular field. Varchar data type represents character type data, that means text values. After varchar, inside brackets, you have to give the width. Suppose I write 20. This value 20 is known as the width or the size. 20 means maximum 20 characters can be entered in the value of the name column. Now put a comma and start with the next field. The next field or column will be storing the percentage of marks scored by the student. So we are giving the name of the field as PER marks. Remember, the name of the field or column cannot contain spaces. The percentage of marks obtained by a student will be a numeric value which can contain fractional part. Such numeric values are called real numbers. In order to represent real numbers, the data type available is decimal. After this, within brackets, let's say we write 5, 2. Let's understand this. 5 represents the total width of the value. Here, 5 is the overall width of the value, out of which 2 digits will be reserved for the decimal places. So 2 represents the total number of decimal places. The remaining 3 digits will be allowed before the decimal point. After this, there are no more fields that we want to include in the table, so close the bracket, place a semicolon, and press the Enter key. So you see the message query OK means the command is correct. So the student table is created with 3 columns, RNO representing the roll number, name representing the name of the student, and PER marks representing the percentage of marks obtained by the student. Once the table is created, if you want to see the structure of the table, there is a command which is called describe and the name of the table student. The describe command shows the structure of the table. That means the fields which are present in the table along with its data type and some other constraints which we'll discuss later. The roll number field belongs to data type int. The name field has the data type varchar. That stands for variable characters. And the percentage marks field is of decimal data type. Instead of typing the whole word describe, we can just write DESC. Remember, in MySQL, you don't have to type the commands again and again. You can move back and forth the commands that you typed earlier using the arrow keys. So, if I press the up arrow key, the previous command will appear at the prompt. Press the up arrow key again and the previous command to create table will appear at the prompt. Press the down arrow key to move to the next command that was typed. I will now write DESC instead of describe by changing this command. To move the cursor, use the left and the right arrow keys and make necessary changes. So we write DESC student and you get the same output. Let's close MySQL and start again. So we started MySQL again. In MySQL, the entire work we do is automatically saved. So there is no need to create the database and the table each time you open MySQL. We already created a database with the name school. In order to work with the database school, we just have to open it. The command to open a database is the use command. We write use followed by the database name school. We get the message database changed. That means this database now becomes the active database. Let's see the structure of the table again. Describe student. This shows that the table student exists. So students, we'll wind up for now and continue in the next lecture.